Good evening. Good evening. This is your man Afe. Back at you with another one. Tonight, I just wanted to come back on here and continue the conversation about HR 40, the bill regarding the study for reparations that's being reintroduced by Representative Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts. But I want to come at it from a different angle. I want to come at it from a real reparations package that actually gave reparations to Black Americans. And it was called the Rosewood Compensation Plan. Bill 591, taken up by the Florida legislature, by both the House and the Senate in that state. In 1994, this bill was approved by the Florida legislature to compensate for the Rosewood Massacre. I'm sure everybody out there that grew up in the 90s is familiar with the movie Rosewood, right? That was directed by the late John Singleton. You know, he directed a lot of movies that everybody out there is familiar with that came up in the 90s, like Boys in the Hood. Well, the movie Rosewood, and I watched it again even before tonight, just to remember what I saw in that film back in the 90s, and it was very disturbing. So the Rosewood Compensation Plan is based off of what happened in Rosewood, and if you get a chance, go check out that movie again, Rosewood. In 1923, this massacre took place in that town in Florida. The depiction of what happened in Rosewood via the cinematic presentation, it was excellent. The way John Singleton produced that film. The Rosewood Massacre was set off by a lie told by a white woman saying she had been beaten by a black man, but in reality, she was beat up by her white lover, the one she was cheating on her husband with while he was at work. Rosewood was next to an all-white town named Sumner, where Miss Fannie Taylor, the woman that is the cause for the Rosewood Massacre, lived. And that is the name of the woman that produced those false allegations. Rosewood, of course, was an all-black town minus one white store owner, right? If anybody remembers the movie, this accusation of being beaten up or raped by this black man set off a white mob vowing to find the black man, or as it was depicted in the movie, this nigga. Just go back and watch the movie again. that had beat up the white woman or raped the white woman. The all white mob of all white men in the town of Sumner, they found this out when she yelled out in the movie. So what happened was, all of these white men, they got stone cold drunk, right? Then they headed over to the town of Rosewood, demanding that the people of Rosewood to release the rapists or the escaped black convict into their hand that they thought was responsible for committing this act of violence against this white woman. The white mob thought a black family in Rosewood was hiding this black convict, because in the movie there was a black convict that had escaped the chain gang. Back in those days, you had things like convict leasing, and they would put you in a chain gang to work. Anyway, so after this lie was told, once again, in short, this set off the massacre in Rosewood and the destruction of the town and the loss of land that these people lived on. 8 people officially died in this massacre. I believe it was 6 black people and 2 white people, because this family in Rosewood, they decided to fight back. And you see that in the movie. But the unofficial records, which I believe even more, is that over 100 people died. Okay, because there were a lot of people living in this small town. So in this small town, you had all types of property being destroyed: a post office, several stores, a depot, a hotel, a school, 2 churches, a Masonic lodge, and multiple homes. So, according to some records, 22 black families lived in Rosewood. And approximately, according to some records, and according to this bill, Bill 591, in the historians that really presented the case to the government of Florida, that these 22 families own approximately 300 acres apiece. So now when you go back and you think about things like 40 acres and a mule again, right, and all that land that was promised. So the 300 acres that 22 families own was equivalent to 6,600 acres. So now during this massacre, the black families, they were forced to flee from this town based on the white woman's lie that a black man had beat and raped her. And that's a reoccurring story all throughout that time, that something happened with a white woman via a black man, and most of the times it was nothing but a lie, and it was used as a catalyst to come against us. The massacre in Rosewood led to the survivors of this incident, right, receiving reparations in 1994 under Bill 591 via the Florida legislature, right? The reparations were given to 10 people. The total amount of reparations was approximately $2 million. And it was like, little give or take $150,000 or more given to each survivor. And they also set aside a scholarship fund. I think about $100,000 to 25 recipients of Black American descent for about $4,000 each. So when these Congress people introduce bills to study reparations, and you already have a precedence, from Florida, from 1994, and there was a whole film put out about it. It truly makes me question their intentions, because you have a precedence already from Florida, right? The only problem with this compensation package that was given to them, that it was far too little. Because remember, I said it was 22 families that own 300 acres apiece. All right, this is a fact. So, I'd like to do a little bit of research just to get facts, actual facts about what they lost and the value of it in today's dollars. So 6,600 acres of land in that area of Florida. 1 acre approximately, according to some land websites. You can look this up yourself. It could be accurate or inaccurate, but it kind of gave a range of $1,000 to $10,000 per acre. So if you do the math, 6,600 acres times 1,000, that's about $6,600,000, or 6,600 acres times $10,000 is $66 million. So if you come up with an average, that's like $36 million that these people actually should have received, because they were the survivors of a massacre that was documented, and it was the fault of the Democratic Party, or the Democratic governor at that time in Florida, named John W. Martin. He was a Democratic governor who should have sent the National Guard into Rosewood to stop the slaughter of these innocent people that didn't have anything to do with this lie that this white woman made up about some black man raping her, when it was actually her white lover that she was cheating on her husband with. You see how that works? Absolutely ridiculous. And just imagine what that could have been today if that lie was not told on a black man. So, when we think about stuff like that, in 1923, there were a lot more situations or massacres, race riots, mob violence, lynching that took place that was similar to that, and similar things happened where people were ran off the land, where businesses were destroyed, schools were destroyed, churches were destroyed, uh, lives uprooted. So that compensation plan, the Rosewood Compensation Plan, that is the precedence. That is a key factor in whatever study these people want to undertake that really doesn't cost $12 billion. I don't. They're just trying to hustle, um, based off of our suffering, our ancestors' suffering, and and the person doing this, of course, she's a Black American too. So I don't know what the reasoning is behind that cost, but I personally don't think it costs that much because the information is out there, and they already have a precedence that was taken up by the Florida government. And I'm gonna end with one thought. In 1994, when this compensation um, plan was carried out and signed into law, and the people received reparations, which was shortchanged. It's crazy that another Democrat in 1994 signed the 1994 crime bill in the same year that caused mass incarceration, especially in the Black community. I don't find that to be a coincidence at all. So I'm gonna one day I'm gonna touch on the 1994 crime bill. I kind of just wanted to just mention that and make people aware that there is a precedence for reparations, that some of us, a small fraction of a percent of us, did receive some type of compensation in 1994. But it's not enough because there's numerous examples that are comparable to what happened in Rosewood. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. Have a good night. Peace.